Alright, what is going on, Brap Gang? Bringing you guys a little video. It's kind of a throwback to my days of skidoo. This is my 2009 MXZX 800R. I got it back in 2012. It was the last skidoo I ever owned, and actually one of many that I owned. I kind of want to make this video and just give a little bit of insight into where I came from riding wise. I'm going to show off my gear a little bit, show off my camera equipment, and just kind of do an overall update. Get to show you guys this old footage and kind of enjoy a little throwback together. So the first sled that my family owned was a 97 Polaris XLT 600 triple. We got that back in 2000. It was our first experience with snowmobiling and the first sled that I had driven myself. I was obviously just riding in front of my dad. I was actually 7 at the time, so certainly shouldn't be piloting a XLT triple by myself. Then in 2002, my dad bought me a X-Edge 120. That was the first year that the graphics from the X-Edge sleds actually made their way onto the 120, so that was really cool. I was probably a little bit too old for that. I was, I think, pushing 10 years old at the time, and I'm a little bit of a bigger kid, so I didn't really fit that well on it, but I got to enjoy like a season and a half on it. Me and my buddy had a lot of fun just kind of cruising around a big farmer's field during the winter, carving out paths, towing our friends on sleds and stuff, so it was pretty cool. Then in 2003, my dad and I both got new sled. We upgraded to a ZR600 Millennium Edition for him, and then he got me a Z370, both through model year 2000s, and those were the first sleds we actually took up to Old Forge and kind of started exploring other areas on. In 2006, my dad bought me a leftover 2005 MXZ 550 fan in the Rev chassis, which is where the Rev Rider 550 name comes from. I had created a Do Talk account and my AIM back in the day, and I thought, how cool, I ride a Rev and it's a 550. That'll be such a cool name. Little did I know that that would eventually become the name of my YouTube channel. But I do remember creating it and thinking, wow, this is just so clever. Obviously, I was, 13 at the time, so probably more impressed with myself than I needed to be. But then in 2007, he got himself a 2006 F6, brand new as a leftover. We bought that from Widrix. It was a dealer in Sandy Creek, New York. He got it for a steal. I think he paid $5,300 brand new for it. In 2009, I got my 2008 TNT. I got that used. It had 1,000 miles on it and was kind of my introduction to the full-size liquid-cooled sled market. I did a lot to that sled too. I studded it, did all the little stuff. I put a 6-inch riser on it. I put Rock's handguards, and I had an RSI bar pad, and then I got my first official wrap. Obviously on the 05 I put the X Package decals on it, so I had gotten a little experience from that on swapping out graphics, but this was my first full-on wrap. I ran that for a year like that, and then I traded that sled in on my 2009 MXZX 800R. That's the sled I'm riding in this video. For the first couple seasons, I ran it pretty much stock. It has a HP Graphics hood graphic on it, which I thought kind of added to it. I got a 7-inch riser that I painted black. Actually held up really good for having painted it myself. I never had any wearing issues on it. I put a Rockstar Pro Taper bar pad on it. And then I got the DS Pilot skis to swap out the Pilot 5.7s because the previous owner had kind of worn right through the 5.7s. He didn't put a carbide on the outside, so they got pretty beat up. Finally, before I got rid of that sled, I got a custom wrap for it. As you can see from these pictures, it was originally like a 50-50 wrap. One side was white and black, the other side was black and yellow. I got all of the yellow swapped out to white, and it just kind of gave it a custom look. And that's kind of where we're at now. Obviously, everybody knows me as a Polaris guy. That's really when most of my content started to be created. If you dig through my channel a little bit, I have videos of my TNT and I have videos of my 800 actually on here. They're definitely not vlog type videos. They're kind of like the typical when YouTube first started. Oh, this is my sled. Let me like just video it and walk around it. So now I'll go over all my gear. I've added a few pieces over the years, as you'll see, and I'll kind of just update you guys on where we're at this season.
Alright, so we're going to go over some of the gear that I've been running in the past couple seasons. I've added a little bit of stuff here and there. I like to kind of upgrade slowly when it comes to my riding gear, just because sled colors change, where I'm riding changes, stuff like that. So first things first, I have these Castle X bibs that I've been using for, I want to say, the last 4 seasons. They're nothing too special. I just went with an all black. They zip up on the sides, make them a little easier to get on and off. They're the risers, I guess. I just got them in black so that I can change jackets and stuff. I had been running my Arctiva jacket the last couple seasons. So yeah, just a simple set of bibs. I like to kind of keep that as something very neutral so that I can change whatever other gear I'm riding with and whatnot. I have a set of Castle X boots. These have definitely seen better days. These will probably get replaced. If not this season, probably next. They're pretty warm. They hold up really well. They just have over the years started to wear a little bit, but these are, I think, like 6 seasons old, so I really can't complain too much. And I've never had issues with being cold or anything like that. So unfortunately, a lot of my gear got muddy on our last ride, so I'm gonna have to kind of clean it all up, but that's just kind of what happens. I have 2 sets of gloves that I run. So these are my Castle X gloves that I run on cold days. They're a very thick glove, multiple layers. They have some leather on the base of the hands. The tops are nice and thick, so they block wind really well. The only reason I don't like to run these all the time is they're so thick that I feel like I don't get a ton of feedback from the handlebars and whatnot on the sled. So I do tend to run with a thinner set, and that would be these ones. These are my Polaris gloves. I got these and thought I was going to be able to run them all the time. You can just see from the difference of the gloves next to each other how much thicker the Castle X ones are, and they do a way better job of keeping your hands warm on cold days. One of the issues I have with these Polaris gloves are these fingertips that are leather. This seam actually lets in a lot of air, so on cold days they were really not getting the job done for me. They do run pretty big, the Polaris gloves, so I ended up getting a small in them, whereas with the Castle X glove I actually have an extra large, so it's a very kind of drastic difference between the two, but I have no idea why it's like that, but just kind of if you want to choose either set of gloves, keep that in mind. And all of those gloves, I got the Polaris ones 2 years ago, and I got the Castle X ones last year, so those are pretty new to me, but I have a pretty decent amount of experience with both of them. So if you watched my Ram review, you actually already know I have this jacket, but it's a FXR jacket from their CX line. I had actually been kind of between a couple different colors on it. Obviously I've been running orange the last few seasons. I thought that they had an orange option in this, but it turned out to be much more like a red in person, and I didn't really want to get to that. So it was this or an all gray option. I just wanted to kind of get something that stood out, so I went with the kind of like lime color on it, just to kind of switch it up from past years. This was my old jacket. It was an Arctiva. I got this in 2013, I believe. They come in quite a few different colors. Kind of see them running around in green and whatnot. This jacket, as far as warmth goes, was not the best. When I first got it, it was pretty decent. But then as the years went on, it just kind of got more and more beat up, and the last couple of years it was definitely not a warm jacket. So you definitely want to layer up quite a bit with that. Whereas the FXR jacket has tons of linings on it, and it's nice and thick on the inside. So it's got the hood. I really wanted to get a jacket with a hood. So this should be much warmer. I obviously haven't ridden with it yet, but I have faith that it's going to be a pretty decent jacket. The other cool thing is it has their FAST technology, which is their system that if you fall through the water, it'll help you float, which I think is really cool. Hopefully something I'll never have to use, but if you fall through the ice, it'll help you float. Hopefully it's something I never have to use. And just for that reason, I am contemplating getting FXR bibs now, because I kind of think having a jacket that floats but then having bibs that don't float kind of defeats the purpose. So yeah, I'll probably either do that. I'll probably do that next season, to be honest, but yeah, it's just kind of in the cards. And my piece of gear that I'm definitely the most proud of would be my FXR Blade Carbon 2 helmet. I bought this a couple years ago. It was by no means cheap at all, but I love it. It's obviously a snowcross style helmet. I used to run a Skidoo modular helmet, but I had a lot of issues with the breath box on it and the clips breaking off. And after a while, it just became way more work than it was worth. And if you get the right snowcross or motocross style helmet, you're really not ever getting cold. If you do get one that the goggles don't really fit properly, you can get air kind of leaking through the top and stuff. I'm definitely not somebody who rides like up in Canada for like really long trips and would be out and exposed for extended periods of time to the cold. So for me, it's not too big of a deal. The only issue I've had with it is these little clips things. They tend to fall out. I'm thinking about like blue Loctiting them, because I have lost this one twice already, and at one point I had one on the side fall out, so I took the one off the top, put it on the side just so that it wouldn't fly around as much, but it's been kind of a pain. These are my FXR XP goggles. They were $80. I bought them with the helmet. They're okay. They do a good job of keeping the wind out of the helmet, because they're obviously designed by FXR, so they fit these helmets really well. But I never liked the tinted goggles. These especially are like a dark orangish yellow. They make riding at night very difficult, so you always want to have a set of backup goggles. These are my backup spy goggles. They don't fit the helmet quite as well, but they do have clear lenses on them, so I'm able to see at night a lot better. It doesn't look as cool on camera when you can see my eyes through them, so I try to, whenever I have like a shot pointed back at me, try to run the tinted goggles just because they look a little cooler. I mount my camera obviously to the side here. It's been good in the past, but obviously I've had some times where it's pointed too far down or too far up, so I'm hoping to maybe think up a new mount either below my chin or like maybe somewhere else on my helmet, but I'm not too sure yet. On the inside, depending on the mic I run, you can see I just popped a little hole through there and put a little twist tie on there. I have two types of mics I'll show you guys, and this holds the one in, and then the one I'm using right now just has a clip on it, so I can clip it onto wherever. And I've had the helmet and both sets of goggles for 2 seasons. Both have held up really good. I have no regrets about buying them. This is obviously a little expensive, so if you aren't like trying to get the most expensive version, you could not get like a carbon blade and just get one of FXR's other helmets, but I thought it was really cool when it came out, so I went with it. So this is my B-roll camera. It is a GoPro Hero. It's not one of their like models in their series of GoPros. This was like their discount one. They have 2 versions. They have the one I have here, and they have one with a screen on the back. They do not have an external mic port, and then they cannot come out of this case. So the only thing you can do is you can take this back off. This is the waterproof back, and you can put one with holes on the back, so you can get a little bit better sound recording out of it. But other than that, it's kind of like the bargain GoPro. Usually on Black Friday, you can get these for around $100.
I honestly wouldn't recommend it. You'd be better off trying to get like a used, like Hero 3 or something like that. You could probably pay pretty close to the same amount. And just in general, if you're trying to record snowmobile footage, GoPros are not very good at it. They don't do very well with white, so they get really washed out. And then on top of that, they have really bad image stabilization. Not to like hurt anyone's feelings that does have a GoPro, but I know through the 6, it's not that good. It does not compare to the optical image stabilization that Sony cameras have. And for snowmobiling in particular, that's really important. And it's not like moto vlogs with motorcycles when they're on flat roads. We really are going to hit more bumps. And so kind of the best way to figure out if you're going to like a camera is to try to find a dirt bike vlog and see how the image stabilization is on their videos, because they hit bumps like we do. And it's a lot more work for the camera to try to sort through that. Also, this I've had since 2014. It's been all over the place. I've used it a lot, but it finally did crap the bed over the summer. It won't charge anymore. If I plug it in, it tries to charge, but as soon as I unplug it, it won't actually turn on. So these were the mics that I had been originally using the most. They are Panovo mics. You can get them all over Amazon. I had really good luck with them at first, and then this is now my third one. My first one worked great. The sound quality is really good. I would say it's maybe even a little bit better than the mic that I'm using right now. But when it's quiet, they do tick really bad. And on top of that, I've had now 2 after my original that brand new, they tick, and I can't get them to stop doing that. So they're pretty much useless. So at this point, I would not recommend getting these mics. You could probably look around and get, this is like a cheap Chinese knockoff version of, I believe, Panasonic mics. So if you could get the real version, it'd probably be more worth it. This is the mic that I use now. It has a dead cat over it, but you can actually see this is what the actual mic looks like. I've had really great luck with this mic. No ticking, no issues like that. And with the dead cat over it, it actually has really good sound quality. So I would definitely recommend this mic. I got it on Amazon as well. I can put links to where I got it. Even though the sound quality isn't quite as good, I haven't had all the little technical gremlins with this one, so it's kind of worth it in my book. Last but not least, getting a little inception going here, this is my Sony AS100V. I've been using it for the last 2 seasons. I've had great luck with it. Like I said, the Sony cameras have much better image stabilization than the GoPros do. There have now been 2 more since this one. There's the AS200V and the AS300 that's out right now, and there's also Sony, I believe it's called like the X4000 that can shoot 4K. I don't have any use for 4K yet, but since my backup camera broke, I'm gonna make this one my backup, and I'm probably gonna buy a AS300V just to get a little bit better image quality. There's not too much of a difference. It's just a little bit sharper and things like that, and I'm gonna spend the money on a camera. I'd rather spend it to upgrade my main camera and kind of like bump this down to my B-roll one, because I actually have a mount for the Articat that goes on the back here, so I can film myself behind it, but it's very shaky with the GoPro, and I know that this camera would do a way better job of cleaning that up, so that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm filming this on November 4th. Tomorrow is November 5th, and that will be 2 years since I picked up my 2017 Polaris Assault. I have heard absolutely nothing on my 2019. There was a recall for all the Polaris sleds on the fuel pumps. I guess it affected 250 sleds, so there was a stop sale on the 250 that were either completed and going to be leaving the factory, or if they were already at dealers, they couldn't be taken home until the fuel pump got swapped out. So that just kind of held up production. I've seen a lot of Indy XCs delivered. I've seen a lot of 850 SKSs delivered, but I haven't seen any Assaults yet. If you do have your Assault already and you got an 850, let me know. I'm definitely curious to hear about those. I've seen 800s and 600cc SnowCheck Assaults at the dealers, so if you got one of those, you probably already picked it up, but mine is not done yet. I don't have it, so it'll probably still be a little while. Obviously, it's going to be a little harder to do like a solid intro video at this point, because it might be like snowing and pretty cold by the time I get it, but hopefully I'll get lucky and get like a really nice day that I can pick it up on and do a pretty cool vlog for you guys about that. The Arctic Cat's obviously still here, still doing good. So if we get any snow, I'll take that one out for a rip. I actually haven't done anything as far as other parts for it. I do want to get a set of handguards. I haven't done that yet, but I think I'm going to do that at some point regardless. And then this season I'm going to do a little update after a year of ownership, and I'm going to do a top speed run.
All right, what is up, Brap Gang? I just kind of wanted to also throw in this last little clip. We do finally have a timeline for the 850. As you can see, there's a couple orders going out. I heard there's one going out on the 19th. There's one going out on the 29th. And that sounds like that's going to be the one that my sled's on, so I'm expecting an early December delivery. Fingers quadruple crossed to get that in time for Snowdio. And then I'm also reading online that if you haven't gotten any sort of notification on your sled yet, there's an order going out on December 5th. And then I'm not sure after that what the plan is. If you haven't gotten any sort of update yet and you're curious, you can email the customer service department at Polaris. I'll hook you guys up with the email address right now. They take a couple days to get back to you. They'll need your snow check order number and the dealer it's going to, but then they can give you an idea of when you're going to be getting it. So hopefully not too much longer. We currently have 6 to 8 inches of snow, so I wish I had my sled. I'd probably be taking it out for a ride today, but not yet. Hopefully not too much longer. And thanks for your patience, guys, and I hope you enjoyed today's content.